Dorit and PK Kemsley's divorce. Latest update. Dorit Kemsley and Paul PK Kemsley are officially divorcing, nearly a year after they first shared that they were taking time apart. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast member had been married to the talent manager for 9 years, and they shared 2 children together. According to Briefing on Bravo, Dorit filed on Friday, April 25, citing irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split. This update follows the joint statement Dorit and PK made in May 2024 when they announced their separation. They shared that they had made a mutual decision to step back and prioritize a healthy environment for their children, adding that they appreciated the public's support during their journey. How PK Kemsley is spending time following the filing. Since the filing, PK has continued spending time with his children, 9-year-old daughter Phoenix and 11-year-old son Jagger. In a recent Instagram story, he posted a video of himself with them at a park, captioned, "It's time for a park performance." He also shared a photo of Phoenix in a dance costume with a simple caption, "My Phoenix," along with a heart emoji. Support from Kyle Richards and Erica Jane. Dorit has received messages of support from her rhobh castmates. Kyle Richards appeared on a Briefing on Bravo livestream on April 28 and expressed her feelings about the news. "That's just always sad to me," Kyle said. "I love her family and her kids. It's just sad. That's all I can say about that." Erica Jane also commented on the situation shortly after the news broke. "I just found out maybe an hour ago," she said. "Of course I reached out to her, but she has more important things going on right now." Dorit Kemsley on removing her wedding ring. During a March episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show, Dorit reflected on when she decided to stop wearing her engagement and wedding rings. "When we first separated, I still had them on. I couldn't take them off. It felt so strange after wearing them for so long," she told fellow cast member Bazoma St. John. Eventually, outside attention made her reconsider. "Someone pointed it out to me, and I realized I needed to accept where I was emotionally. That's when I chose to put them away." Timeline of the separation. Dorit and PK first announced their separation on Instagram on May 9, 2024. This news came 2 months after they marked their 9th wedding anniversary. They were married on March 7, 2015. Reasons behind the separation. In rhobh Season 14, Episode 9, Dorit discussed how their evolving personal circumstances contributed to the separation. She shared that PK's sponsor had suggested a period of space between them. Dorit noted she wasn't sure whether this advice originated solely from the sponsor or whether PK also agreed it was necessary. In the season premiere, Dorit clarified that their decision to separate didn't stem from a single incident. "There wasn't a big moment," she said. "It was something small that escalated, and we both felt that some space might be the right step. Everything but goodbye." Inside Dorit and PK Kemsley's divorce and the final days of a rhobh love story. It was a quiet Friday morning when Dorit Kemsley's attorney walked into the Los Angeles County Clerk's office with a file labeled simply, "Kemsley vs. Kemsley." In that moment, after 9 years of marriage and nearly 12 years together, Dorit Kemsley officially filed for divorce from Paul PK Kemsley, citing irreconcilable differences. But what the court papers couldn't say, what the fans couldn't see, was how much had already broken between the once beloved couple behind closed doors. This was not a story of betrayal or a sudden blow-up. It was the slow unraveling of a marriage under the weight of fame, financial strain, emotional distance, and reality television. It was the kind of heartbreak that doesn't scream, it whispers. The end, a long time coming. Though the paperwork was stamped April 25, 2025, the marriage had been on life support for more than a year. Back in May 2024, Dorit and PK had released a carefully worded joint statement, the kind that feels scripted but is heavy with subtext. "We have had our share of challenges," they wrote, "but our greatest priority is our children and maintaining a healthy co-parenting relationship." The split wasn't a surprise to rhobh fans. Season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills had been littered with hints that all was not well in the Kemsley home. Viewers watched Dorit retreat emotionally, clinging to her children and leaning heavily on Kyle Richards, her longtime friend and confidant. But it wasn't until episode 9, when Dorit finally opened up to Bazoma St. John in a quiet kitchen scene, that the reality truly hit. "I'm not wearing my ring anymore," Dorit admitted, her voice thick. "I held onto it for as long as I could, but I had to accept that pretending doesn't make things real again." Her eyes had shimmered with unshed tears as she traced her fingers where the band used to sit. It was a symbolic moment, and for many viewers, it was the emotional turning point of the season. PK, a public figure, a private pain. While Dorit's narrative played out on Bravo, PK kept a lower profile. He had never been as comfortable with the cameras as his wife. Since the couple's official separation, PK had focused on parenting, particularly staying close to their 2 children, Phoenix, 9, and Jagger, 11. On April 27, 2 days after the divorce filing, PK posted a story of himself and the kids at a park. Phoenix wore a sequined purple leotard and grinned for the camera. "My Phoenix," he captioned it, with a red heart emoji. The image went viral among rhobh fan accounts. A close friend of PK's, who spoke to Briefing on Bravo on condition of anonymity, shared more. "He's hurting, but he's also trying to stay strong for the kids. There's guilt, definitely, but mostly there's just sadness. He still loves her." Sources close to PK say he has taken up sobriety coaching more seriously, engaging in weekly meetings with his sponsor and volunteering with a men's recovery group in Beverly Hills. He wants to be better. For himself and for the kids, the source said. Whether or not that ship has sailed with Dorit, he doesn't know. Kyle Richards, "It's just sad." Among those rallying behind Dorit in the wake of the divorce news are her rhobh castmates. Kyle Richards, herself navigating a rocky separation from Mauricio Umansky, appeared on a Briefing on Bravo livestream on April 28 and addressed the Kemsley split with quiet compassion. "That's just always sad to me," Kyle said, her voice tinged with genuine emotion. "I love her family and her kids. It's just sad. That's all I can say about that." Kyle and Dorit's friendship has had its ups and downs over the years, but in recent months, the two have appeared inseparable. On social media, fans have speculated that Dorit's deepening bond with Kyle may have given her strength to make the final decision. "She's found a new kind of independence," another Bravo insider said. "Kyle has helped Dorit see that she doesn't have to stay stuck in something just because it's familiar." Erica Jane reacts. Erica Jane, another of Dorit's longtime castmates, reacted to the divorce filing in her typical blunt fashion. "I just found out maybe an hour ago," she said during a fan Q&A on April 26. "Of course I reached out to her, but she has more important things going on right now." While Erica has faced her own share of personal and legal battles, insiders say she's shown Dorit real kindness behind the scenes. "She knows what it's like to have your whole life fall apart in the public eye," the insider shared. "There's a sisterhood that forms in that kind of pain. From glam to grief, Dorit's private struggles. Behind the glamorous Instagram posts and polished confessionals, Dorit has struggled." In the rhobh after show, she admitted that taking off her wedding rings was one of the hardest moments of her life. "I wore them every day for almost a decade," she said. "When we separated, I still had them on. I couldn't take them off. It felt so strange after wearing them for so long." But a pointed comment from a stranger at a charity event changed her perspective. They said, "Oh, so you're not really separated, huh?" And it hit me. I was holding on to the idea of us, not the reality. That's when I went home and put them away. That night, Dorit reportedly cried herself to sleep. She told me it was like mourning someone who was still alive, Kyle said in a voiceover during episode 11. That kind of grief, it's brutal. There wasn't a big moment. Unlike some reality TV breakups that hinge on dramatic cheating scandals or blowout fights, Dorit and PK's end was more nuanced, more tragic in its normalcy. There wasn't a big moment, Dorit said during the rhobh season premiere. It was something small that escalated, and we both felt that some space might be the right step. But when space turns into silence, the damage becomes harder to repair. Friends close to the couple say that PK's ongoing legal and financial troubles added pressure to the marriage. The stress, combined with their diverging emotional needs, became insurmountable. There was love, one friend of the family said, but sometimes love isn't enough. The kids, Phoenix and Jagger. At the heart of this story are two children who are now adjusting to a new reality. Dorit has made it clear that Phoenix and Jagger remain her top priority. Everything I do is for them, she told Bravo's cameras. This is the hardest thing I've ever done, but I know I'm doing it for the right reasons. According to legal filings, Dorit is requesting joint legal and physical custody, with a preference for the children to remain in Los Angeles full-time during the school year.